Hello there guys, welcome to Major Gives a Damn. Right, let's jump into the most dreaded topic that most of you want me to cover, SSB Medicals. But I wonder, why are you guys so worried about Army Medicals? Do you do something in medicals? No. What do you do in medicals? Nothing. You go there, stand like a zombie. You literally waste 5 days of your life for medicals. The specialist will come, he or she will check you, they will even strip you naked and check you. That's it. You have nothing to do. If somebody has to do something, those are the doctors and they will do their job. The SSB Medicals should be the last thing on your mind. But there you go. You guys are so worried about the Army Medicals. You guys keep thinking what will happen in the medicals. Don't you think you guys should be focusing on SSB rather than the medicals? Because there is no guarantee that you guys will reach Army Medicals until and unless you clear your SSB. As prospective future leaders in the Army, I wonder why you guys are even worried about something that is not in your hands. If you ask me, it's a futile exercise to worry about your Army Medicals. You don't need to worry about it. What are you guys actually worried about? Getting a rejection in the medicals? If that's the destiny, so be it. Accept it. What can you do? If you have a medical deformity which is not curable, what can you do? Is it your fault? No. So please don't worry about it. But yes, I will not just leave you hanging like that. I'll tell you a few stories and then you guys can decide for yourself whether you should worry about Army Medicals or you should go full-fledged at the SSB. Right, I have a friend in the Army. He's presently a major. He's my course mate. So this chap, he did not go for his SSB for 2 years. Why? Because he had flat foot. So flat foot is a permanent rejection, right? So this guy kept pushing his SSB because he was worried he will get rejected at the SSB. So finally, he gathered all his courage and he went for SSB. He did very well in his SSB. He was recommended at the end of 5th day and then his medical started. As usual, he gave his blood, X-rays were done, ENT was checked, surgical was checked. And when surgical day came, his flat foot was also checked. But surprise! The specialist gave him a go-ahead because according to the specialist, his flat foot was within the permissible limit. Everybody thinks if you have a flat foot, it becomes exceedingly difficult to do the physical tasks in Army, right? But this boy was one of the finest in the academy. He had excellent physical standards. So you see, every situation has a permissible limit. If you fall within that, you will be cleared. If you don't fall within that, you will not be cleared. It's as simple as that. Right, now coming to the second story, I served as the officer commanding in a couple of units. There is an option for the already serving soldiers of the Indian Army who are excellent to go and give the SSB. They have to go through some entrance tests, etc. But at the end of it, they will have the SSB. I've trained 3 of my boys for that, and I can say with a lot of pride that all 3 of them are officers in the Indian Army today. So one of them, he went for his SSB, he did exceedingly well and he got recommended. And once he got recommended, he gave me a call. Everybody in the unit were happy. So his medical started and at the end of his medicals, he was given a permanent rejection for exotropia. Exotropia is a problem that you have with your eyes. The boy was devastated, I was devastated, everybody in the unit was devastated because this boy deserved to be in the Army as an officer. He came back to the unit and we decided to go for the appeal against this medical opinion. Army Medicals has this provision. Once you've given a rejection, you can always appeal at a different hospital. If that hospital also rejects you, then you are definitely out. But if that hospital clears you, then you're fit to go into the Army. So this boy appealed and he went for the re-medical at a different hospital. And he was cleared by the specialist. The specialist said his exotropia is within the permissible limit. So you see, ultimately everything boils down to the specialist's opinion. Now I'll tell you another story. During my SSB, I had a friend. His father was a JCO in the Army. The boy was good and he was a repeater. Because his father was in the Army, this boy had already gone to an Army hospital and done a medical checkup, a general medical checkup. And he was found generally fit. So 5 days of SSB happened and 4 of us were recommended from that. Then our medical started. One person out of all 4 of us was declared completely fit. The rest 3 of us were given temporary rejection. One of my friends and I were given temporary rejection for overweight. I was 78 kilos at that time, and according to the army standards, I had to be 66 kilograms. Similar was the case with my other friend. We were given 35 days to go reduce the weight and come back and appear in front of the board again. We did that, we reduced the weight and we brought our weight down to the stipulated limits and we were cleared by the medicals. But our 4th friend, he was diagnosed with hypertension. It was a surprise to him. He was also given temporary rejection and he was told to come back with us after 35 days. This boy then went to the best of the doctors in the civil and he started taking medicines for hypertension. He was monitoring his situation every single day, and by 25th or 26th day, his situation was under control and he was confident that he will make it. So we all went for the medical board again. Me and my friend, the overweight guys, we were cleared, but this boy was again rejected for hypertension. In spite of taking all those medicines, in spite of monitoring his progress every single day, he was found hypertense again. And he couldn't make it, he was rejected at the medical. So you see, that's life. The army medicals is absolutely not in your control. I also have another friend who retired from the army with me. He had knock knees. So this guy, he was pretty sure that he will get rejected in the medicals. But he was there at the SSB for the experience. He wanted to know what happens in the SSB. He wanted to experience that. He wanted to make himself a better person. So at the end of the 5th day, he got recommended. He went for the medicals and to his surprise, he was told there are 2 categories of knock knees, minor and major. He didn't know that. And he was told his category falls in minor and it can be treated. He was given a temporary rejection. He came back after 35-40 days and he was cleared in the medicals. He became an officer in the Indian Army. I hope you guys can clearly see what is happening here. There are a lot of people who think they might not make it in the SSB medical. But even to their surprise, they have been cleared. Because why? There are permissible limits. If you fall within those permissible limits, you will be cleared. Nobody can tell you what those permissible limits are. Only an army specialist can tell you that. A doctor, I can't tell you that. Any other officer from a non-medical field cannot tell you that. Because we don't know. See, I am a weapons expert. I look after tank guns, RT guns, small arms. A doctor will not know anything about the weapons that I handle. He will have no clue. Similarly, I'll have no clue about what a doctor knows. It's as simple as that. But yes, there are certain things that will definitely lead to permanent rejection. Something like a slip disc, something like a hole in your ear, something like hypertension, something like a heart problem. These things will definitely lead to permanent rejection. If you're really worried and nothing makes you happy, do an ultrasound before you go for SSB. You will get to know a lot about your body. And there are a lot of things that can be treated. Something like a kidney stone, something like a varicose vein. All these things can be treated. And when it comes to eyes, you can always wear specs in the army. But yes, LASIK is not permitted. If you've done LASIK, it might lead to permanent rejection. But yeah, I hear a lot of aspirants who are really worried about their eyesight. They ask me questions about eyesight. Frankly, I have no idea, guys. Only a specialist can tell you this. I'm sure you guys have read a lot of criteria about the eyesight and spectacles on the internet. But beyond all those, the specialist's opinion matter. So what you need to do is present yourself in front of the specialist so that he can either select you or reject you. Another controversial thing is the tattoo. If you're an aspirant, what I would recommend is do not get your tattoo done right now. You will have your time. When I went for my medicals after my SSB, I had 2 tattoos. I had one on my nape and one on my shoulder. Both of them were religious and small tattoos, and it was not visible whenever I wore a shirt. The specialist did not ask me anything about the tattoo, and he cleared me. But one of my course mates, when he went for his medicals, he had 2 tattoos on his neck. It was sort of a wing. He was given a temporary rejection. He was told, if you get this tattoo out, we will clear you. Otherwise, you will be rejected. The boy went back. He did some laser treatment, went through a lot of pain and got the tattoo removed. But he still has 2 visible marks on his neck. But yeah, he was cleared. Right now, he's an officer in the Indian Army. So I hope you guys have got the point. There is a permissible limit and non-permissible limit. If your category, if your problem, if your medical condition falls within the permissible limit, you will be cleared. If it doesn't fall within your permissible limit, you will be rejected. It's as simple as that. Just keep it this simple. And who decides this permissible limit? The specialist. Period. Other than the specialist, nobody can tell you this. Other than the specialist, nobody has the power to reject you or select you. Every single day, I see a lot of aspirants getting extremely worried about medicals. You guys should stop doing that. Rather, use this time to prepare for your SSB. Do you guys even realize this? When you go for your SSB, your chance of getting recommended is 50%, right? And then when you go for your medicals, your chance of getting cleared in the medicals is again 50%. But if you sit at home thinking that you will not clear your medical because of your medical condition, your chance of clearing it is 0%. So why do you guys want to do that? Go for your SSB. Do not worry about your medicals. Let it happen. If you are destined to clear your medical, let it be. If you're not, you can still walk with your head held high, because getting rejected in the medical is not your fault. And let's say you cleared your SSB and unfortunately you got rejected in your medical. You would have still learned a lot as a person, because the 5 days of SSB will give you that kind of a leverage that you can take for your entire life. Wherever you go, whatever you do, these experiences will definitely come handy. You will be an overall person. You will be better than your civilian counterparts. And whatever career you choose after that, these learnings will assist you in becoming a successful person in that career. So do not worry about anything. Do not think twice. If SSB is what you want and you're not going for the SSB because you're worried about medicals, stop it right now. Just focus on your SSB and forget about the medicals.